And I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on my greenhouse and what you can grow in containers today. So let's go on in. Alright, I'm going to start by giving you a quick overview of what's in here, and then I'll go into more detail. I have a lot of things doing companion planting. Half of my pots have strawberries that are just starting to fruit. I don't remember what this variety is called, but it's very solid, it's very good. I'll try to put it in the notes if I can find it. And I've only gotten about 3 so far, but it's the middle of June. I have another strawberry plant somewhere that is sending off runners instead of fruits. Here it is. So what's going on here is this plant decided not to bear fruit. Instead, it's putting out runners. And so this is a runner. It's going into the pot next to it. And I put down some dirt just to hold it down. And it's this part that'll take root and become the new strawberry plant. So as soon as that takes root, I can finally cut that in the back. Here's one of the bags that I'm growing potatoes in. I'm growing it in the center one. The other one is going to have a tomato, and that's another strawberry plant with some extra cilantro and things that need to get separated that I sowed heavily. And the good thing about growing potatoes inside of containers is that you're not going to lose any to accidentally not finding them in the soil, and then not only did you lose part of your crop, but you might end up mixing up your tomatoes the next year if it comes to plant next year. In here I have a lot of radish greens growing. In order for them to bulb up correctly, they'll have to be thinned out, but they're just now starting to bulb up. I have a few in here, which there's only 3, mixed in with the onions that are starting to bulb up too, so I've been picking the onions for myself just to eat along the way, so I'm not leaving them that thick. And then in this giant container, I have a lot going on in here, but it's all with a purpose. So beans don't grow very well with tomatoes, but I have a wall between them with onions, a watermelon plant, and there's carrots. Same with this bean plant. It's surrounded by onions that are starting to bulb up under here. That one looks really nice back there. You can see it. It's so hard to get in there. Oh well, yeah, that little bulb right there. I have 2 potato plants as well. I have more squash and melon plants along the way. Here's some that were sown in a cluster. And surprisingly, all of them ended up coming up. Here's one turnip in the background. That won't be too long before that's done. I have some newer onions. I was bored this winter and I started these in December, January type area, and then I sowed different onions for the next 2 to 4 months. These are the youngest ones that I planted out, and so they're really liking the heat that's coming up. I also have some carrots right here, and one of the things that's cropping right now is the cilantro right in the back, so I can do that as well. One of the other things I have that's coming up, I'm starting seeds for, those are for summer, but the rest are for autumn, and you can't see them yet because I just sowed them today and yesterday. But one of the other things I have coming up is arugula everywhere, as well as a little bit of cabbage. Nice thing about rocket salad or roque arugula is that it crops so quickly. It tastes really good. I have a second type on my website that I'm selling a seed called Slow Bolt. So if you've grown arugula before, it can either be wonderful or a curse. It has the ability to go to seed very quickly, self-sow, and then just maintain being in that area. Even if you have harsh winters, it can do that. The seeds don't mind. And so the slow bolt has been very popular this year just because of that, because you can get a crop longer without it going to seed. And it's just nice being able to have stuff to pick right now. That's why I started radishes and arugulas, because I just wanted stuff to crop sooner. And so it's about the middle of June right now. And I have very cold nights here in the Rocky Mountains. So what I've been doing is I've been growing things in this little greenhouse. I have a little video of what it is that I built. It's very low to the ground, keeps the heat in sort of well, but during the day it does get very hot in here and it makes everything explode. It's doing wonderfully to get my plants going. But another thing I do is that is a an agricultural cloth that I use to cover my plants at night, because that helps them to grow even better. It keeps the warmth in so that they don't get slowed down at night. You know, you don't want them speeding up during the day and slowing down at night. You're never going to get fruit that way. And these are very close to flowering, so I need to keep covering them so that I get tomatoes soon. And I started some of these a long time ago, kind of like what I did with the onions. And then some of the tomato plants are newer that I actually started in here. Oh, and there's a beet right next to a new tomato plant. There's a, can't really see it, but there's one pepper plant in between all of this. And as stuff gets harvested, it'll be thinned out, and then it won't be a big deal that I've got melon, squash, and watermelon plants coming out of here too. This is a banana type of potato. I have a ton of potatoes this year. Then I have larger types like Huckleberry Gold spread in other areas. And what's going to be good about this is that these don't take that long. So once I get these out, it won't be that long before the onions need to come out. The cilantro will, of course, be done. And then the tomatoes and the watermelon can really flourish, especially with the turnip, and the beans will be gone by then as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to harvest the beet or just keep picking the tops of it, because I like the tops the best. They have great anti-inflammatory properties in them. That's the early wonder beet top. I'm going to go ahead and take a cilantro cutting too, but there it is, the pepper plant. They're kind of young since I started them from seed, but I wanted to see how well things would grow out here from seed. They're germinating well. So let's see what we can do with that. Oh, you know, I forgot to show you. I have in this bucket's kind of full too. There's a potato plant, some radishes, and there's a little celery plant right underneath the summer squash. The potatoes outside are growing a little more slowly because the greenhouse isn't up yet, but I'll show a video of that soon. So thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good one.